Hello everyone, before I get to the main topic of this video, I'm just going to showcase a mini haul. I didn't get much, but I saw some deals at my local Barnes & Noble. I figured I'd show you some. Unlike Andre Cedino, fuck you if you're watching this, die Andre, die. I actually expand upon my comic collection, Flash Rebirth, which is the resurrection of Barry Allen, the aftermath of it. I can't comment on that because I have to buy the stories that precede it. So you won't be hearing for that for a while. This is The Death of the Family. I may have to get Batman Volume 3 to get the whole story, but otherwise, I got a good deal on this. Got a lot of material. I can't comment on this. I'll have to get the first two volumes of the New 52 Batman run by Scott Snyder. But otherwise, yeah. Barnes & Noble's had a good deal where you buy two, get one free, and it's a deal I couldn't resist. Now let's get to the topic of this video, because this will trigger a certain pedophile. Fuck you, Andre. This is about the DCU. Why do fans like myself hate it? Now, get that out of the way. The DCU, if you've been living under a rock since Man of Steel, has been living, not living, you know what I mean, has been criticized a lot. Is it justified? Yes, it is. Because they can't even get basic things about the characters right. I don't care if this Superman is outdated, you stupid fanboys. There's some general things about Superman that hasn't changed. He's a symbol of hope. He feels like someone that could inspire others. This Superman, no, in this movie. Man of Steel, to be honest, is probably the best of the DCU so far. But that's not saying a lot, because the DCU is shit. And I hate it. And many other fans feel the same way. Is the hate justified? Of course it is. You have all these great characters that are waiting, have been waiting for decades to be brought to the big screen. And you can't even get them right. Not to mention, next year, okay, 75 years, and about a year from now, a little over a year, it'll have been 40 years since we've seen DC movies, other than the Adam West Batman movie. I'm referring to that live action one. Yet, what has DC done? I mean, let's not talk about DC Comics. What has Warner Brothers done? All they've shown is Batman and Superman. And had it not been for the Marvel MCU, they would still be doing that. Yet, instead of trying to make quality movies, they're trying to play catch up with Marvel. And some of these stupid fanboys of the DCU are some of the worst I've ever dealt with. I know someone on Facebook that has an entire page dedicated to people who hating on people or attacking people against people who are against the DCU. There's pretty bad MCU fanboys, but these guys are fucking terrible. I'm sorry if your shit taste offends you, but your movies are shit. I am a DC fan more than I am Marvel. But Marvel has better movies. They've had better movies for almost 20 years. Seriously. There hasn't been a good movie that DC has had, other than animated ones, since the 90s. Since Batman 89 and Batman Returns. These are the last two good movies. Now, what made Batman 89 so good? Well, I talked about that in my review of Batman Returns. It brought Batman back to his roots. It showed the public that Batman wasn't this campy joke that the Adam West cartoon made of him. It got Batman, it got him respect again until Batman Forever pretty much ruined that. And ever since then, it was the last true Batman movie. Yes, the Dark Knight trilogy did gain some Batman some respect again, but Nolan didn't save shit. Burton did that first. Now, the reason I hate the DCU and why a lot of fans hate it because the amount of potential that it has. This is me personally. You have all these great characters that have yet to be on the big screen. Barry Allen as the Flash or Wally West, depending on who you prefer. I prefer Wally West. You have Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart, or various other people you could use as Green Lantern. I prefer Hal Jordan, but Jon Stewart is fine by me. You have Wonder Woman, probably one of the biggest feminist icons. Batman, Superman, and other people. You have such great villains such as the Doctor Zoom, aka the Reverse Flash. You have the Joker. You have the Riddler. You have Bane. You have Penguin. You have so many characters, so many great characters. It's hard to keep track of them all that are just waiting to be put on the big screen. And they can't even get their most iconic characters right. So much potential wasted. Instead of doing what Marvel does, building up their universe, they're just rushing it. Suicide Squad is nothing but a shittier version of Guardians of the Galaxy. By the way, watch this if you want something like Suicide Squad. Much better movie, and you don't have to watch the extended cut. Oh, God. This movie, since this year's over, is, for me, the biggest disappointment of this decade. I had high hopes for this movie. One, it was the first time you got two iconic titans on the big screen together for the first time. And they fucked up. Big time. Batman and Superman are the most well-known superheroes in the world. One of the first superheroes people would think of. And this movie, which should have grossed $2 billion, more than The Force Awakens, it should have done it. It could have. But due to Warner Brothers' incompetence and hiring such a hack of a director like Zack Snyder, they put that fucking hack, that talentless piece of shit, to direct what could have been a historical moment in comic book movies. This could have been the best comic book movie of the year, easily. It could have been. There was everything it had. Everything. It got beaten by this, I could tell you that much, through box office and reception. Is Captain America Civil War perfect? No. It has its flaws too, but it does something that Batman v Superman doesn't do. It isn't boring. It isn't flat. It actually makes both characters sympathetic. You can see both characters from their point of view, what they're right about, what they're wrong about. It does. This actually takes something based off the source material, the event Civil War, which is hated by a lot of Marvel fans, and actually improves upon it. And by the way, this movie was inspired by this piece of shit. In one of the best movies of the MCU, if not the best. In my opinion, this was a good movie. Captain America and Iron Man aren't even close to how recognizable they are compared to Batman and Superman. And they kicked their ass. It's not even a contest. So many missed opportunities with this and Suicide Squad. And don't give me that crap. Oh, if you've seen the extended cut, the movie's better. No, a bad movie is a bad movie regardless. This should have been a masterpiece. Not a movie that's going to end up in the bargaining bin in a few years, if even that. And people like talk about, oh, the movie's so thought-provoking. It's so intelligent. Give me a fucking break. This is more thought-provoking than fucking Batman v Superman. And it's like, oh, how dare you bring up a Marvel MCU movie. Those movies are garbage. Fuck you. It dealt with Captain America, Steve Rogers, having to adjust to a world that's alien to him. And he suffers through post-traumatic stress disorder. He does. It is the best movie of the MCU. And also, there's some more thought-provoking things in that movie that it is in there. Oh, Andre, fuck you. I may not be the biggest fan of Nolan, but these movies are more thought-provoking than Batman v Superman, especially The Dark Knight. Much better movie. Oh, if you want to watch Batman v Superman, the good version, watch this. Not only is it a better movie, especially if you watch the deluxe edition, which has both parts in one, you get to watch what Batman v Superman should have been. Not to mention the rape of the source material. Zack Snyder claims he's a fan of The Dark Knight Returns, yet he doesn't understand anything about The Dark Knight Returns. I don't care if it takes some elements from The Dark Knight Returns, with the costume, with the armor. It's still a shitty movie. The Flash movie that's coming out, it lost its director. I've already lost hope. I don't think it's going to be any good. And why even bother with the Flash movie at this point? Well, we already have something that's going to be better than that piece of shit anyway. The CW show. It's just, instead of building their universe bit by bit and making their movies better and better, you have a movie that's kind of like a movie like Batman, not Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, which actually feels like a movie. Then you have almost a 3-hour bore fest, Batman v Superman. Then you have a poorly edited mess known as Suicide Squad. And there's your DCU. 3 movies. I don't care how much money it's made. Does that mean it's successful? A movie has to make back its budget. A movie needs to be at least received well by at least critics and fans. The thing is, unlike the Michael Bay Transformers movies, and I'm going to compare them, no matter how shitty those movies are, they're going to make a lot of money regardless because people want to see how bad they are. They have some entertainment value, I guess. The same can't be said for Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, or Batman v Superman. These movies are they're far worse than they deserve to be. Zack Snyder ruined Superman and Batman, but the thing is, you put someone in charge, incompetent individuals, that ruins what should have been a cinematic event in history. And now you just have a forgettable movie. And before you idiots think, oh, but Suicide Squad, it's so faithful to the comics. You have all these characters that never appeared in a live action movie before. Okay, first off, did Harley Quinn really deserve a shitty movie for her first live action appearance? No, she didn't deserve that. In fact, she deserved better. The Joker is so cringe worthy. 8 years it's been since Heath Ledger, and oh my god, it's some of the most cringe worthy fucking dialogue I've ever seen. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad are definitely the worst superhero movies to come out this year. Period. Yes, Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse, it may not be that good, to be honest, but at least it's entertaining. At least I can enjoy that movie. And by the way, this movie is better than Justice League. Deal with it, motherfucker. It may not be out yet, but I guarantee you people are going to compare Avengers to Justice League, and rightfully so, because they'll be the same kind of movie. But unlike Justice League, the Avengers had something that Justice League will not have. When the Flash, assuming Green Lantern's in here, Cyborg, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman all assembled together for the first time, do you honestly think it's going to be as epic or have the same feeling that you had when you saw Avengers in theaters? Because think about it, Avengers, you had 2 Iron Man movies, 1 Captain America movie, 1 Thor movie, 1 Hulk movie. You had movies building up on top of the other. And the thing about the MCU, which the DCU doesn't have, is every movie feels connected. It feels like it's all in one universe. Well, every movie feels like in its own universe. It's a fucking mess. And you shouldn't be a hardcore comic book reader to actually know who characters like Boomerang are, or Croc, or Deadshot. Because unless people have read comics, they're not going to know who those characters are. The only character that might know who they are is Harley Quinn, because some of these people could have played the Batman Arkham games or seen Batman the Animated Series. Other than that, none of the other characters are recognizable. And had they been established in a prior film, that would not have been the case. This is the problem. DC does everything so half-ass instead of actually doing things properly, telling, the story arcs of these characters, introducing these characters so when they have them in one movie together, it makes sense. It makes no sense, especially if you really think about this, why the Flash doesn't do anything to help, the government save the world with the Enchantress and Suicide Squad. He could go over there, stop it, and be done with it in a few seconds. Yet you're having these criminals do it. It's like it makes no sense. Nothing in the DC universe makes sense. And by the time Justice League's come out, assuming Wonder Woman's any good, we've had 3 movies that sucked in a row. Think about that. The MCU, before the Avengers, you had Iron Man, which was good, Hulk, which was Iron Man 2, which was shit. You had Thor, which some people like, some people don't like, but it was still entertaining. You had Captain America, which was good. At least the MCU was consistent. They didn't get worse and worse in each fucking movie. Man of Steel was the best of the series. Batman v Superman was bad. Suicide Squad, you can argue, was even worse. There's a lot riding on Wonder Woman. a lot. If it isn't good, the DC cinematic universe is fucking finished. You better pray to God that Wonder Woman is a good movie that actually succeeds where those three movies failed. Because if this one fails, I guarantee you Justice League will be the last movie of the DC cinematic universe. In my opinion, it's gotten more chances than it deserves. And, of course, I'm pretty sure Pedophile Express already said as one of his stupid comments by this point. He probably didn't even watch the whole video. But for those of you who like hearing my rants, yeah. By the way, Andre, Pedophile Express, prove to us that you actually own the shit that you claim you own. I guarantee you guys, I bet Pedophile Express probably doesn't even own Batman Forever or Batman and Robin or any of the movies he claims to like. I bet he doesn't. Die, Andre, die.